people should be treated humanely, and they are. People should be treated with dignity,
Is it humane,
and they
though,
are.
to keep people locked up in limbo for more than 3 years in some cases? Because the mental anguish that they are going through is pretty horrific.
But Andrew, let me ask you the question. I mean, if you've got somebody who's been found not to be owed protection, not to be a refugee, and we've offered them support, a package to go back home and to re-establish their lives.
That is the minority of people.
If we don't allow those people to accept the package and stay and come to Australia, there will of course be other people that follow.
But let's talk about the refugees. Well, they've been assessed as refugees. They were fleeing persecution.
Yes.
By definition.
People are fleeing persecution in many cases. They've found refuge in countries such as Nauru and such as PNG that are signatories to the convention, but ultimately they want to come to Australia because we have a very generous education system, health system, welfare system, the best in the world. Now,
in the meantime, though, are you worried about children on antipsychotic drugs because they've been there for so long? One of the workers, one of the teachers we spoke to on Nauru, Evan Davis, he told us that he was advised that he wasn't allowed to spend as a worker more than 4 weeks working on Nauru because it wouldn't be good for his mental health. Now, that is a worker there who knows he can come back to Australia whenever he wants. If it's bad for the mental health of a worker in 4 weeks, then what can it be like for children who are there for 3 years plus?
Obviously, there is a rotation system for people to come in and out. People fly in, fly out in terms of medical workers or staff on the island. I mean, that would be a normal practice for any company to fly their staff in and out.
Now, but he was told specifically it was about his mental well-being.
Well, if he's dealing with difficult situations and people are pleading their case each day to him or to others, you can understand why that would be difficult, because I don't want to see children anywhere but in a loving home. I don't want to see...
And children referred to by numbers, not by names, by just 3 letters and then numbers. That doesn't sound like it's a dehumanising thing.
Well, just let me finish, because I mean, in terms of the support that we provide, some of the classrooms on Nauru, for example, I've been into some of the classrooms where there are electronic whiteboards, overhead projectors, small class sizes. We contract Australian education providers to deliver curriculum and programs to those children to a very high standard. We provide, as I said before, support through medical assistance. We provide support through language training. We provide significant support to... It's interesting to point out that you haven't noted that there are over 350 people on Nauru who are employed in local businesses or employed in jobs. Now, there are 35, for example, who have started their own businesses there, and there are many hundreds.
Why can't we see any of this? Why is the media banned from going to Nauru and effectively from Manus Island as well?
Well, there was Channel 9 were up on Nauru recently, the Australian have been up there recently.
We have been trying, as Al Jazeera and other media organisations have tried for 3 years pretty consistently. We received an email a few months ago now saying all media application, I quote, is being denied. All media applications is being denied. A hand-picked programme was allowed very restricted access to Nauru. One single journalist from a newspaper has been allowed in as well. Well, it doesn't feel like an open centre. Amnesty have not been allowed to go to Nauru.
But again, Andrew, I mean, if we can
Danish delegation of MPs was banned earlier this week.
But again, Nauru doesn't dictate, nor does any other country dictate to me who I issue visas to come to this country. And similarly in Nauru and PNG or New Zealand or elsewhere, the Australian government doesn't issue visas for people to travel. Now, there are more people than just the 2 that you point out from the media who have been up to Nauru over the years. And
well, I've been there myself when Australia's government helped us to go to film the camp as it was then being established. But since your government's been in, I think 2 media organisations have been in those 3 years. It's not much, and that's not for want of trying.
But this is a question. This is a question with respect. I mean, this is a question for the Nauru government, because, as I say, I'm not dictated to in terms of who, as the Australian Immigration Minister, I issue visas to.
But it's not. It's a client state. $1.2 billion has been spent on those 2 centres in those 2 countries. You're not seriously telling me that if Australia's government asked Nauru to open up their centres more, Nauru wouldn't listen.
The issue is for Nauru. I want to come back to another point that you just made a second ago, and that was in relation to the international scrutiny, if you like, or organisations like the United Nations or Red Cross who visit regularly to Nauru. I think that's important to point out as well. As I say, there is a lot of hype and a lot of misinformation out there, because ultimately what people want to do is undermine the process that we've got, because they don't believe in a strong border protection policy.